Whoa, we're back from the Bleach Soul Resonance, and I want to do a little bit of a new player roundup just really quickly. So, Nellel is based on leaks, and of course, let's just clap. Let's just get this through our heads. We thought that Kenpachi would release and have like 70% crit for completely free. We thought he would literally not need to build crit. So let's just remember that unless anything is in the game, in the files, and we can play them, let's just not go too insane. But because she is a tactics character, and because our last tactics character was Aizen, I'm comfortable in saying that Nellel will probably be must-have, just because, and say it with me, pulling supports in gacha games is almost always more important than pulling a DPS. Because supports last, and DPS get replaced. That's just how it goes. They don't release enough supports typically to get people like, oh my god, yeah. You know? They typically balance the games around power creeping DPS and, you know, getting people to be like, oh my god, a new, you know, Blingo Blango is coming out and he's got a big sword, you know, new big titty waifu with guns is coming out and she's got a big sword as well. Like, you know, oh my god, she's Dante. Like, these characters are the eye catches that are there to make you spend money and spend your Jade and spend your free-to-play currency. And the supports are usually just quietly actually being the best characters in the game. They're being the most necessary characters in the game. So, with that in mind, we know that Nell as a limited support will probably be incredible. I don't know if she will give crit damage, like 80% crit damage. I don't know if she'll give this and that at dupe and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Who knows? She's not in the game. I don't care. What I'm saying is, you should leave room for yourself to get Nell. Thankfully, returning players will be getting 7,000 Jades, 44 pulls via events. By the way, this is enough to get a weapon. So returning players will immediately get one free weapon via events if they return. This means that returning players can expect around 200 plus pulls before Nellel even leaves. What this means then is that you can go for a god reroll. So you get 40 standard pulls as well, which means you immediately get to pull on the standard banner and grab yourself Kisuke Yodohara, if I'm not mistaken. If that hasn't gone away, I don't know what it looks like to make a new account. I've never made one, but I assume the 40 pull selector still exists because there's not really a reason they would take it out. And if it does, it means you pull for Yodohara. There is no other standard character you should pull for. There is no other standard character that is as useful. There is no other, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to beat you over the head with it, but there is none. So, that means that we arrive here. The must-haves, remembering that Nellel is essentially a character that you get for free. If you play the game, if you start Bleach Soul Resonance right now, you will get Nellel for essentially free. So your reroll should be Aizen with possibly his weapon, because you are getting Nell and her weapon for free by simply playing the game during this period. If you can manage it, because you're going to be because the other thing that's happening, and people probably aren't going to be mentioning this, is the other thing that's happening is you're going to be playing through the story. You're going to be playing through events. You're going to be clearing content that we as older veteran players no longer have access to. We can't get those Jade, but there is a lot of Jade lying around in the game, especially, by the way, if you have Aizen and his weapon, which you're going to get for completely free. You're going to get Aizen on reroll. You're going to reroll. You're going to get Aizen's weapon for completely free. Let's go in game for a second. We go in game. We go to weapon. 40 tickets by playing through events. 40 limited pulls. That means that you start the game, you literally open the game for the first time, and you will get enough, enough material to grab the weapon. So you get Aizen and his weapon, right? You then continue to play just casually, enjoy the game, enjoy the story, play through it. Over the course of Nellel's banner, you will have made enough to get her and her weapon. So now you have a core of the three, essentially what we will imagine are the best three characters in the game. The best support, the best support, and the best support. Some are saying she's up here. Some are saying my Aizen could still be up here. We don't know. She's not in the game. But this will probably literally be the three best characters in the game. And you can get them all for completely free. There's nothing you need to do beyond just get on. Here's the thing. You could also choose to reroll for Kenpachi. Kenpachi is on right now. I don't know if that, like, I am not entirely sure of when these characters will launch, if Kenpachi will be around still, but if he's not, it means you could just go with Gin when he reruns, right? I would not suggest going for either of these characters. We don't have details on Bankai Ichigo's buffs. We don't. But a core stamp buff feels like it can't really move the needle for Kenpachi. I feel like Kenpachi is just a better character. So I wouldn't really consider him. Toshido, while being the only true spirit, you know, main DPS unit, is not good enough to sort of break into this upper crust. Toshido needs dupes, Toshido needs his weapon, Toshido needs his core stamp. Just put him out of your mind. Unless you are literally the biggest Toshido fan and he is the only reason you would want to play this game, pulling for 2 spirit characters does not sound like you're filling out teams. So you're going to pull for Yodohara on the standard banner, you're going to grab Aizen in the reroll, you're going to grab Nell with the remaining currency. You should, again, through playing through the game, and through getting 200 plus pulls before Nella leaves, have more than enough to have picked up Gin and his weapon. I haven't run the math on this. I don't have the math in front of me. But if you just consider that every single time you open a gacha game, guess what? You're usually able to play through the story and pull one time on like pull one limited character. By the time you reach the end of playing through the story, playing for a few weeks, it's almost impossible that you don't have enough to pull the whoever is limitedly running. It's like you're right. It's God's right. It's fucking Prima Noctis or whatever, right? It's like you are able to do this because you are getting materials that we as longtime players no longer have access to, right? So I would say that, and I mean, this is to show, I mean, I didn't reroll for Bankai Ichigo, so I didn't pull until Toshido. I think I had, like, just from playing through launch, and launch is going to have way less than Chinese New Year, it seems like. Just from playing through launch, I had enough to pull Toshido, and by the time the next banner came back around, I had 20,000 Jade. Right? So all of that being like, you know, all that being equal, if you can only pick one of these characters then, not counting, I guess, Kenpachi if the banners don't rerun, like say that all of these characters are available and Kenpachi is out, right? So you can't actually pick between him and these other rerollable characters. Then you could be like, okay, here, right? Or, you know, here, you know, for sure. But if you can, I would grab Kenpachi, or Gin. I would grab these characters in my reroll, Aizen and Yodohara, and Nell should literally be free. And you'll be grabbing these 2, weapon and all, with the Jade you get from just playing through the story, doing a bunch of missions you'd never had access to. We didn't have access to these big time SSR characters. So those story missions, those story events, those towers, those, you know, this and that and this and that, they weren't made with Aizen in mind. They weren't made with Nell in mind. They were made for us to beat it with Bankai Ichigo and a bunch of standard characters. Right? So they should be pretty easy. Aizen is so gap. Before we even talk about Nell, who isn't in the game, Aizen's so gap that you should be able to get through most of the content. Even like the towers, if you build your Aizen, get his weapon, get his core stamp and stuff, you should be able to get through the tower up until like a pretty decent point. Because Aizen just breaks the game. Like he's so much stronger than these characters that the moment, as a free-to-play player, the moment I got Aizen, I was like, and I haven't like pushed tower in a while because, you know, there's no reason for me to. The moment I got Aizen, I crushed this content. Like, it was just like over. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes. Aizen was just that strong. Those tower floors weren't made with Aizen in mind. So I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to just make this very focused. Just to, you know, recur one more time. You're gonna get Yodohara on the 40. You're gonna have enough to pull. You're gonna have enough to like reroll for Aizen, grab his weapon. Reroll for Aizen, grab his weapon. By the time the Chinese New Year is over, you would have had enough just in raw pulls to grab Nell and her weapon. And so you should spend any currency you get from just playing the story on one of these guys. And if it becomes a case that, you know, Kenpachi is no longer available when this is happening, pick up one of these guys. Gin is the big one. Because what'll happen is you pair Gin with Nell, you're going to get a Rangiku for completely free. She's completely free. You're going to get her for free. You pair Gin with Nell and Rangiku. You pair Aizen with Yodohara +1. Yachiru is a support. She could do it. You could get a main DPS. You could get, you know, I don't know. Who would be like a... You could literally just use Shikai Ichigo. You could literally just use any of the SR DPSs until Grimmjow comes out. And you're going to have... That's going to give you 2 teams. You're going to take those 2 teams and just like slowly every time a character is released, add on, you know? But the great thing is SSR Aizen and SSR Yodohara will work with Ikaku, will work with Yoruichi. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really need them to have a perfect DPS because them as a twosome are going to be doing most of the damage anyway. The third character is going to be like complementary essentially. All right. I hope that makes sense. I hope that felt, you know, pretty concise. The reason I'm not reading all this is because we don't know. You know, ultimately we don't know. Who knows, right? Like, she could be anything. This is all leaks and stuff. It could be anything. I don't play with any like limited SSR dupes. By the way, I am a completely free to play channel. If you're getting here and you're wondering, and I do fine. This is a standard character, but this is a limited character. No SSR dupes. You know what I mean? No SSR dupes. So this is just my experience literally playing the game free to play. You can see that I've got 14,000 Jade, all free to play. We can go in here. Oh shit, literally nothing, right? Like, none of this is paid for. This is free. This is free. The one on the side here, nothing. Like, this is free. The ones on the side here, nothing. Like, this is the game. I'm trying to give you the game. I'm trying to give it to you for free. Like, this is Bleach Soul Resonance. It's very free to play friendly. You can make it. I would just follow these tenets. Keep it in mind. If you want to have a more visible like view of like your teams, we can go in here briefly and go to challenge. And I mean, this is literally going to be it. It's going to be Aizen, Yodohara, and then one character. And you're going to put Yoruichi there if you have her. You're going to put Ikaku there if you have him. Or you're going to do what I did. You're going to use Shikai Ichigo for a while. And you're just going to replace him once you get like an Ikaku or Yoruichi. But then you're going to be over here, rather. And you're going to have Gin, Rangiku, and Nell. And you're going to fucking crush content. You're going to actually obliterate content. Up until like you finally get to pull for another limited DPS. I promise you. I promise you. So, yeah. Hopefully that all adds up. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense. I've been Lone. Like if you like the video, subscribe to the club. We all go make it, and peace.